Unfortunately, our research has shown that it appears Governor Barbour has violated the Constitution of the state of Mississippi, which provides that no pardon shall be granted unless the applicant for the pardon has published their application for pardon 30 days prior to the granting of the pardon. We have found instances where this has not occurred. And so I will be going into court in a few minutes to seek an injunction to stop the release of any prisoners that the Department of Corrections may be now processing those pardons, to hold those that are in jail. The 5 murderers that were released just this past Sunday, I believe it was, it appears that their publication requirement has not been met. Unfortunately, I don't believe the law allows me to go arrest those 5. My message to those 5 that were released is, you'll have an opportunity to come to court to prove that you publish these. So, you be careful in what your actions are. I'll ask the court to serve them with notice and provide them with an opportunity for hearing. We're going to also advise the court that we need time to review all the records. Unfortunately, Governor Barbour's prior counsel has prevented us from obtaining the documents that we needed. Today, I finally got Governor Bryan on the line, and he agreed to allow our attorneys access to Governor Barbour's pardon files. So we'll be doing 3 things before the court. 1, asking that those prisoners be held until we're able to sort out whether or not their applications for pardons have been properly published and that the pardons are valid. Number 2, we will be asking the court to to require the 5 who were murderers, who were actually there's 4 murderers and 1 robber who were released Sunday, to report to the court and show cause as to why they have published. What we have found is some are even publishing now. They've gone to the media, they've gone to the newspapers to try to do the publication, and that doesn't work. The 30-day period has to occur before the governor signs these pardons. And some of these pardons were signed on January 6th. It's going to be, some of them we found already, they hadn't published anything. So we think clearly a court will void those pardons. We don't know how many at this point. We're having to go to those counties, those newspapers, and try to determine, whether they publish. Maybe if they, for example, ask Governor Finch, way back then, some of these murders have been in there for a long time, for a pardon. Did they publish back then? Maybe that would work, but we don't think so. What we're seeing is many of them went out in December. They did not meet the deadline for the 30-day publication, and the Constitution is clear. It says no pardon shall be granted until the applicant shall have published for 30 days. So we believe that the court will hopefully issue a temporary injunction enjoining the Department of Corrections from releasing any more prisoners. We also ask the court to order those 4 murderers and the armed robber to immediately report to the Department of Corrections, and we'll set a court date very soon to make a determination on whether theirs were valid. All these others, we're going to have to go back through, and our office will have to go to every newspaper and try to prove that they had never published to me. They may have been convicted 20 years ago, so we're going to have to do a lot of work. And it's unfortunate Governor Barbour didn't read the Constitution. It's a slap in the face to me as a prosecutor for serving 20 years that we have to go back and try to round up all these convicts that have been turned loose and try to fix the mess that he's created. They dumped this over on the Department of Corrections yesterday afternoon. This was all done in secrecy. It's a shame, and he ought to be ashamed. His attorneys have tried to block us today from getting access to the records. And, I had to tell Governor Bryan I was going to have to sue him to get an order to make the governor's office turn over those records. I mean, if they don't have anything to hide, they're public records. They should have been turned over to us this morning when we started demanding them. We've been knocking on the door. I mean, it's that kind of situation we've had to deal with today. Thank goodness. I've worked with Governor Bryant. He stepped up, ordered Governor Barbour's lawyers to provide them in our office. It took 5 minutes. Our guys walked up there, and we're getting the files right now. So those files will tell us if the governor had any information as to the publication, whether that was met. Some we've already looked at. It does have some publication notices. Some don't have anything. So it was the duty of the governor to determine that they had actually published this. And the reason people put this in the Constitution, yes, we give the the governor of our state the powers of the king to release people. But at least the people got an opportunity for notice and a comment. And that's why we put that in our Constitution, requiring our governor to make sure that the applicants, the convicts, went out and published it in local papers. We found in some instances, none, they didn't publish anything. Some have run out now in just the last week and started publishing, but it's too late. Those don't work. You've got to have it done before the governor signs a pardon. And so it'll be a fight as to whether or not, like for these 4 murders and 1 armed robber, it will be a question as to how many days were sufficient. Some of them have done 21 days. I'll be asking the court that they're void. The court may give them an opportunity, and that's why I'm strongly encouraging those 5. Don't go out and do anything tonight or harm anyone, because you are going to have your chance in court to prove that you have a valid pardon. So